Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday to you. Um, Going to give maybe 30 more seconds. The bell didn't ring here at North Central, which was weird. The teachers are all conditioned to working off of bells now as well. If you can, a handful of you have your video muted. Just so I know you're here, if you can unmute your video. It's not like I have to stare at you. But just so that I know you are actually here and not just signing on and going back to sleep. Thank you. Wesley, you out there? If you could, if you have the ability on your
Here.
device to unmute, that'd be helpful. Or turn your video on, that would be nice. All right, folks. We're going to get started so we can make the most of our time. The first thing we're going to do is a very brief warm-up. I think I told you the warm-up is something you'll do most often when you come here. Usually it's only worth 3 points. Today it's worth 5. And the warm-up is under the module for the week and the date. So that means you guys go to modules right here. And page down to week number 4. You should see 8/19 warm-up. Today is the 19th. So you click on it, and it's pretty simple today, okay? Type 1 interesting fact you learned about your civilization. What does the same thing look like today in our modern society? Zoe, are you out there? Zoe, I'm going to ask you a question. Can I read your response to the whole group or not? You can say no, and I won't.
Yeah.
Didn't catch you. Was that a yes or a no?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. That turned my video up. All right, Zoe said the Persians took farming seriously, so they had good farming, just like now we have good farming. That's a good response. Maybe how did they farm, though, instead of just good farming? That's what we're going to talk about today. Like, what did they do? Did they have irrigation systems? Today we farm using a lot of pesticides and herbicides and fertilizers and chemicals and genetically modified seeds. Maybe they did something cool too. Okay, so I'm going to unshare. Go ahead, and I'm going to give you 3 minutes. I'm going to put a timer on. You got 3 minutes to respond to that question, please. Do that now. All right. So you should have responded. Let's see how many responses we have here. Yeah, I've got 12 responses. There's 23 of you, so take about 60 seconds to finish up, please, if you are not done. And we're going to move on to a mini lesson for the day.
I can't post mine for some reason. Like I can't reply to it.
You can't reply to the discussion?
Yeah, like I wrote it out and then it don't have the reply button.
Are you on 819 warm up?
Yeah. About the one where it's like find a fact that relates to
Yeah.
modern day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I'm on that one.
interesting about your civilization. Maybe you need to page down a little bit on your computer. Should say reply a little bit underneath.
Not just say next and previous.
Just send it to me in a message. Can you do that real quick? Just copy and paste it.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, never mind. I think my computer was just being slow. It just loaded, like the box just popped up.
Gotcha. Thanks. All right. Going through the responses, most of you did it right. Some of you were a little vague and just said, we use them today or what they were known for. You want to say what they were known for specifically and then say what we use it as today. All right. We're going to move on, though. I'm going to take over, share the screen, and I'm going to need everybody's attention here as I want to go through just a mini lesson on the Israelites, something that's going to be pretty foundational for this course, as the Jews and the history of the Israelites is going to come back again, obviously, when we talk about the 20th century and this thing known as the Holocaust, but also the creation of the country of Israel today, which is highly controversial around the world because the Arabs and the Muslims lived there peacefully for about 1,000 years. And then there was a creation of the state of Israel again after that. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to go back to that and see Zariah got in. That's good. All right. So, what I'm going to be going over today, you guys can see this on your screen. If you want to have it on your screen, you can. I already have it downloaded, obviously, but you go to modules, you can download this if you want to. And take a look at ancient Israel, okay? This is the modern day basis for Judaism. I think it was Ethan who said his connection was, and a couple of you maybe said the same thing, was that the Israelites believed in one God, Yahweh, and Jews today believe in the same God, and then Christians and Muslims, who make up over half the population on the earth, all believe in this same concept of one God. So, looking to see you guys are paying attention here. All right, so if you look on the screen, you'll notice this is a map of ancient Israel. Okay, in the green, this is the land that the Israelites controlled. In the purple, some of you who are studying Phoenicians, they're more what is like modern day Lebanon and Syria. And they were more sea trading people. And then if you keep going over here to the right, this stuff in the yellow, this is all land that was controlled by either the Babylonians or the Assyrians. And then at the top here were the Hittites. Okay. And then over here is ancient Egypt. So this is five of our 7 civilizations. And then you'll notice at the end here, the Persians come in and take all of this over. So just for a little bit of context. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to read this with you guys. Again, I want to make sure you're following the screen. And if you have a question or something pops up, put it in the chat box. Okay. And again, keep this pretty simple. So the people of Israel, also called the Jewish people, trace their origin back to the prophet Abraham, who established the belief that there is only one God, the creator of the universe. Abraham and his son Isaac and grandson Jacob were referred to the patriarchs of all the Israelites. All 3 patriarchs lived in the land of Canaan, and later came to be known as the land of Israel. So it was originally called Canaan, and then and Canaan was the promised land that was promised to Abraham. Some of you may have heard of this, but Abraham was the one who received the promise from God, also known as the covenant, which was threefold. And that was that the Israelites that Abraham's descendants would become as numerous as the stars. How many stars are there in the world? Countless, endless. So his descendants would be as numerous as the stars. His people would be the king of kings, so they would rule the world. And then third, they would get to inhabit the promised land, and that was Canaan, which today is the modern day state of Israel. So that was a threefold promise, as long as they listened to their one God. Now, it's important that people understand that, because this is the basis for that state of Israel today. There's a lot of conflict there today. And also, the whole idea that they would be the king of kings and rule the world was some of the rhetoric or some of the stuff that Hitler used to say that the Jews were wrong. Okay? Now, the name Israel derives from the name given to Jacob. His 12 sons were the ones who started the 12 tribes of Israel that later developed into the Jewish nation. The name Jew derives from Judah, who was one of the 12 sons of Jacob, or one of the original 12 tribes. So the names Israel, Israeli, or Jewish all refer to the people of the same origin. They all trace their roots back to Abraham. My wife's family is 50% Jewish. My kids are a quarter Jewish. And so some of their blood, in theory, can be traced back to Abraham 3,500 years ago. Now, the descendants of Abraham became a state at about 1300 BC after their exodus from Egypt under the leadership of Moses. Some of you may have heard of this. This is when the Egyptians enslaved the Israelites. Okay. Soon after this, then, Moses transmitted the people to the newly emerging nation. And the Torah, this is the book of the Israelites, the Jews, and the 10 Commandments, their lost code, was passed down after 40 years in the desert. Moses would lead them to the land of Israel. Okay, so they wandered around the desert for 40 years because they weren't doing what God said. Okay, and when they did what God said, then they had good luck passing them. The people of modern-day Israel share the same language and culture shaped by the Jewish heritage and religion passed down through generations, starting with the founding father Abraham. Thus, the Jews have had a continuous presence in the land of Israel for over 3,300 years. So this is what they put their basis on for why the Israelites and the Jews today should control Israel. I want you guys to understand that. If you ever see on the news or in your current events, like even the other day, they made a peace agreement with the Muslims that live in the Palestinian territories to no longer put a wall up, and they're not going to go to war. This was the first time that they made a peace treaty in a while. Now, the rule of Israelites in the land of Israel starts with the conquest of Joshua, king. Okay, later then, the period of king, this is known as the period of kings. The most noteworthy king, though, these are probably the two most famous was King David, who who made the capital city of Jerusalem. If you're doing this in your project, you want to include that. And then his son Solomon, who built the first Jewish temple. That was the holiest of holy places. That's where the Ark of the Covenant was kept. That's where the Ark of the Covenant was the original 10 Commandments, and it was a gold case that was made of pure gold. Pure gold, probably the most valuable thing that would exist in the whole world, and nobody knows where it is to this day. Some of you maybe have heard of a movie where Harrison Ford starred called Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they had a movie based off of trying to find the Lost Ark. Okay? No one knows where it is, and that was in the temple. In 587, the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar captured Jerusalem, destroyed the temple, and exiled the Jews all over modern-day Iraq. Okay? And that's called Babylonian captivity. So the Jews were thrown out. And then the year 587 marks a turning point in the history of the Jewish region. From this year onwards, the region was ruled or controlled by a succession of superpower empires in the following order. The Babylonians under Nebuchadnezzar, the Persians under King Cyrus, the Greeks under a guy by the name of Alexander the Great, and then the Romans and the Byzantine empires under various different people. And then the Muslims would come in, and then the Christians would come in, and then the Muslims would come back, and then the British Empire controlled it, and then it became a Jewish state again, I believe in like 1949 is what I want to say, or 47, one of the two. Okay? So a little history there on Israel and the Jews and how they can trace their lineage all the way back to Abraham and then the 12 tribes. That's all I'm going to go into today. Again, a little mini lesson. The last thing I wanted to do with you was talk about project reminders. So I hope I've got you guys' attention. Okay? Here's how this is going to work. Number one, you must share your research with me today. The assignment is on Canvas. I'm going to show you exactly where that is right now. Canvas modules. It says, I believe it says, did it pretty quickly yesterday before tennis. It says week number 4, research submission or submission right here. Okay. You have to turn in your research there. Okay. Some of you turned in some slides to me that were okay, average. The content wasn't great. But you still have to turn in your research for 10 points. Okay. So that's a 10-point assignment, 0 or 10 points if it's done correctly. That's number 1. Number 2 then, when you start to make your slides, okay, and I'm kind of worried because I saw what you guys put in the warm-up for today. Your research should include details if they are available. Here's a non-example, so don't do this. They had complex cities. If you put that on your slide, that tells me nothing. I've got to then try to deduce all this information in my head. Here's a better example about the Assyrian cities. The largest city and capital was Nineveh. It had a population of over 120,000 people and featured outdoor markets and complex roads. Okay? That would be a better description. That's about 15 to 20 words maybe. That's what I'm looking for on your slide. Not looking for they had complex cities. Tell me what they were. Tell me what they were like. Tell me how many people lived there. What was unique about them? Okay? And do that for each one of your examples. If your research isn't good enough yet, then you got today and tomorrow to get that done. When you start your Google Slides, just a reminder, a title page, beginning, a works cited page at the end, and then your pictures need captions. So if I were to put a caption for this picture right here, I would put ancient map of the kingdom. So this is when they were a kingdom of Israel around 900 BC. Okay, that would be my caption for that picture. Okay, so I want that on all the slides for full credit. And then in-depth factual research. This is what I'm looking for the most. So again, the example up here, you just tell me that they had a god or a lot of gods, but you don't tell me, for their religion, what did they do that was unique about how they believed in the afterlife or what they thought their gods did. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Okay. All right. I wanted to give you guys some time to research. I'm going to go ahead, leave this on my shared screen. I don't want anybody to leave yet, as I need to take attendance. After I take attendance, I'll let you know. And in the meantime, if you have a question, ask right now, please. Okay.
How many facts do you have to have on the fact sheet?
You mean on the research sheet you're turning in?
Yeah.
I mean, just whatever you can find over your civilization. So show me, I'm basically going to grade that on effort. Like, does it appear that you've been trying to figure out information? Okay. Some of them are harder than others. So I can't say I can grade all of them the same, because some civilizations, there's not as much information over particular categories. So if you felt like you put in your best effort, you can move on to the next one. All right. Good question. Anybody else?
Yeah, I've been absent ever since Friday.
Okay, I will get you caught up individually, okay?
Okay.
I'm just taking attendance right now, and then I'll help everyone get started. So if you could just wait about 2 minutes, okay? Thanks. Anybody else have a question? Yeah, I'm almost done here. Lambert Hodge. Okay, gonna go ahead and stop the share. If you have a question, I'll be on here for a few minutes. Let me know. And Maritza, we gotta. If you want to turn in, if you did your research and you hand wrote it, that's perfectly fine. You're more than welcome to turn that in. On my submission box, you'll see that I take like JPEGs. So if you just take a picture and then upload that, that's fine too. All right. Maritza, you were gone Friday and Monday and Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay. So for Friday, there's a quiz on Canvas, all right? It was over what we learned about last week. You can use any of your notes. You can use your textbook reading. You can use you can use the intro that you did from the textbook. I need you to take that quiz, okay? Then secondly, there's a current event, and this is in this is in the current event section. It's current event number 2. Pick an article about the topic you might be interested in again. Try to find one that has new information, and then fill that out. Okay. And then the third thing, and you can have some extended time. You can have the weekend to do this, but we're doing mini projects over one of the 7 civilizations that came out of Mesopotamia. Okay. And so on Canvas, that is located on the week number 4. It's called the mini project. You can pick one of those 7 civilizations, and then you're going to make a Google Slides about that over the 8 characteristics of civilization. Okay. And I'll let you pick whichever one you want. And then the last thing I would say is if you could turn all of that into me separately and tell me what you got in your quiz score so I don't have to look it up because it's kind of difficult to do that. Just send me that information either in an email or as a Canvas message. And then I can then I can grade it without having to go in and trying to find it amongst 100 other kids, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions? I mean, if you have questions along the way, send me a message too, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. Hope you're feeling better. Anybody else have a question? All right. I will be on here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my video off, but you guys feel free to ask a question, type it in the text box. If not, you're more than welcome to leave and keep working on your work, and then get the research paper turned in. Okay. You guys have the benefit because I have 3 periods in a row of CP World History, so you have until 11 o'clock to get that turned in.
Mr. Brunel, when is the practice due?
The practice or the
The little research
research
thing.
sheet, 11 a.m. today.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Tim, you need any help?
No.
Okay. Just send me a message if you need help on anything. I'm gonna get rid of this meeting, okay, so I can record it.
All right.
Thanks, man. Have a good day.